What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play No One Lives Forever. Last time, after stowing aboard, well, I guess it's not really stowing aboard considering that we basically just stole a spacesuit and pretended to be one of the astronauts that went up into space, so it's not really stowing aboard, more like, can't really think of the right word for it, but basically we got onto the shuttle and went up into to h.a.r.m's secret, quote-unquote, space station, which apparently not only has the h.a.r.m people, but also some random civilians as well, who died along with the rest of the h.a.r.m goon squad, because after obtaining the security code and going into the research lab, we obtained the antidote, or at least a sample of the antidote necessary to cure the symptoms and to get rid of that chemical that they use to blow people up. And while doing so, a meteor crashed into the space station and pretty much killed everybody aboard. So not only did all the h.a.r.m scientists and terrorists and whoever else was on there, but also those random civilians, which for some reason happened to be aboard the space station, also ended up dying. But now we have the sample, and we can give it to Dr. Schenker to create the cure and save people, which we will do in this next level called Good Luck and Godspeed. Unity may have the antidote in its possession, but the agency must still discover the identities of h.a.r.m's intended victims. Can Kate retrieve the list of names before another city pays the price?
You have the antidote, but you still don't know to whom you should administer it. The next step will be the most uncertain so far. It will also be the most critical. The price of failure will be measured in innocent blood.
Yeah, as always, we gotta report to Advanced Field Tactics, which, honestly, at this point, I don't know what other new techniques we can even learn, considering that we're fairly close to the end of the game. I would say we're probably about, maybe, 5 or 6 levels away.
You look tired.
I'm all right, sir.
We've asked a great deal of you on this assignment. Under normal circumstances, we'd have a team of agents collaborating on a situation like this.
Well, I wanted a challenge.
You've certainly got the right attitude. Gentlemen, what have you learned?
The antidote sample is viable.
Excellent. Is there enough for our purposes?
I should think so. Of course, it depends on how many people have been infected.
We need that list of names, and we need it before h.a.r.m sets another example.
Where's the Baroness now?
She and the Baron are on holiday at their chateau in the German Alps.
Then that's where I'm going.
Need I remind you that h.a.r.m's next victim will detonate less than 20 hours from now? That's assuming they don't retaliate for Agent Archer blowing up their space station.
Relax, Smithy. It'll take 'em that long to figure out what happened. I wrecked their communications, remember? Besides, a meteor shower blew up that station, not me.
Regardless, this hardly seems the time for wild goose chases.
Well, what do you recommend? Look, I know the Baroness is behind this mess, and I know she keeps that list of names close to her. She's not doing this just for the money. She wants to blow these people to bits. She wants revenge.
That's an amusing theory, but you'll excuse me if I'm not entirely convinced.
I don't care if you're convinced. I just want to know if you have a better idea.
Not at the moment.
Then let me do this. If you come up with something better, you can call me back. I won't argue.
That seems unlikely.
All I care about is getting that list of names before more innocent people die. I don't want to sit around here waiting for some blinding flash of insight, only to discover I was right all along and lives were lost because I didn't follow my instincts.
If you receive a signal from us, I expect you to drop everything and get in touch immediately. Am I understood?
You can count on it.
I hope you have a plan.
Sure I do. I'm going to get inside that chateau, find the list, and get out.
I see. And how exactly do you intend to do that?
I'll improvise.
Brilliant. Why didn't I think of that?
keeping an eye on the Baroness for us?
He's just a spy. Some poor chap willing to risk his neck for a pittance and a bit of adventure.
Perfect. Have him meet me at my hotel when I arrive.
Are we really going to go through with this?
Yes, we are.
God save us all.
More vehicle practice, I see.
Since snowmobiles are a common method of transportation at this time of year in the Alps, we figured you might as well use this opportunity to practice with one.
It's kind of weird how they just randomly take me to some unknown snow-filled location in the mountains for just to practice driving a snowmobile, which really isn't any different than that bike we drove in the, in the other practice one. Feels like the sensitivity is a bit higher for the snowmobile than for the bike, but other than that, I mean, driving is still basically the same. There. Really don't see the point of doing, really don't see the point of any of this, but, it is what it is, so.
Excellent.
I'm bored out of my skull. It's so boring. I never have any fun.
Why don't you just, make out with each other or something? Anyway, as always, short debrief level, nothing really special. And, Smitty, see, on the one hand, you would think that the reason he, doesn't want to go through with this plan, even though he was kind of, I guess he was probably just acting like he was worried. I don't know. When we told him that we're going to go into space, he was like, no, don't do it. It's too dangerous. And maybe he was just acting that he was worried. But, on the one hand, I guess it would kind of make sense that if you don't believe that somebody is responsible for something and that, you're skeptical about going through with basically investigating them. But on the other hand, it's a bit suspicious how, Kate has been pretty much right all along about everything else. So you would expect that if she thinks she's right about this, you would think that if her handlers would be like, okay, sure, go ahead. If you really think that this is the case, go ahead. And then if nothing turns up, then okay. And if something turns out, well, as she said, you save lives. But he was just like, no, it's not gonna happen. No, this is ridiculous. This isn't the case. Period. Typically, doesn't typically people who are associated with said person, if somebody committed a crime or if somebody committed some kind of act of terrorism, right, and you had a friend or something that's not necessarily helping them, but it was just either helping them or it was just associated with them, then they would be more likely to dismiss any allegations against that other person they're associated with. It's I've seen a lot of instances in movies and other games and such where a group or a person that's part of an organization or a person that committed something, and then there's another, a person in a position of power that's like a friend of, that terrorist, and he's always, and basically he was involved in the terror act, but he, because he doesn't want to, one, doesn't want to get caught himself, and two, doesn't want his accomplice to be caught, he's always just sort of try to shrug off and divert the attention away from said person. So I have a feeling that Smitty, the reason that he's always such an asshole to Kate and always tries to dismiss everything she says, especially when she's right about, pretty much 90% of the time, is because I think he's actually involved with h.a.r.m. And he's just, and also the fact that he blamed, what's his face, Laurie. The fact that he blamed Laurie for, being the traitor, I think he's just trying to shift the blame on somebody else, when the fact is that he himself is the traitor. I mean, it just all makes sense. The way he acts and the things he does, it's just, I don't know. It just really makes sense to me. I don't know about you guys. But anyway, I shall catch you all next time when we tackle tailing the Baroness. See ya.